Hello, my lovely light, and welcome to this class that is geared towards hip opening and bringing in that emotional release. I know that my hips can feel really tight and I can hold all the tension in there. So in this class, let us just open and expand and find strength and calm and flexibility and mobility. And the hips come with an open heart, an open mind, and together let us do this. Welcome, my lovely light, to Yoga Bliss with Shelly, and I'm Shelly. Join me in a child's pose, bringing the big toes, kissing the big toes, and doing your best to sink back the sit bones towards the heels. This you can make an extended child's pose with the arms forward if that feels good for you. You can melt the forehead onto the earth. Just taking a moment to settle in. Welcome and inhale. Exhale through the nose or a melted jaw. And notice, especially in the hips, where you're feeling tense and tight. And this is a noticing without judgment. Just take a moment and maybe you can rock the hips side to side, welcoming a breath in. Exhale. One more full cyclical breath that comes in. Send it away. And pushing yourself up on the palms and walking the palms in about under shoulders. Distance here for a tabletop position. Inhale the right heel and knee up. And then exhale, start by taking circles in one direction. So really mindfully here, pressing wide open hands into the earth and just being mindful that the body weight is not being pressed down so deep into the hands, and that you're holding your body up with integrity. Exhale, opposite direction. So just tap in. What's happening in the hip? Does that hind foot want to post up or option to go down? What feels best for you? Can you make this last one big and round, round, round? Hinging it up, and then exhale. Extend that leg long. Press back down into the heel. Take a moment to just push back into the heel with that leg extended. Inhale. Exhale. Lovely work. Bringing that knee on the right side back under the body here. And then engaging through the opposite side. Heel pops up. Knee comes out in the opposite direction, and start making those circles. So just tapping in mindfully here. And if you are noticing sensitivity in the knee on the earth, it is always welcome to bring a blanket here without shame. My mat is a little bit thicker, so I'm not feeling like I need it, but if you do, please pause this and help support your knee joints. Big full cycle that comes all the way around. Good. Pause and go the opposite direction. So once again, my lovely, just be mindful. Are you cranking down in the wrists? Sometimes I can really feel this pain shooting down in the wrist. And if that's the case, really engage, press the earth away. Big, wide, flat hands. A lot of times I'll see crunched up fingers in class, which if you're doing that, that's okay. Just try again. So the opposite direction, last cycle. Wonderful. Good. Mindful movement comes now, both knees down, tabletop. Exhale, walking about 1.5 palm prints forward. Mindfully scoop the pelvic wall forward, bringing the body up across for a plank variation here, a kneeling plank. And then exhale, mindfully press yourself down to the belly. Good. Once you make it down to the belly, kind of set yourself up for success. You move your hair out of the way, and then exhale the right knee away from the body. So there's a few variations here. You can stay up on the hands. You can extend the arms long. If that's too much for you, this is kind of like a sphinx mixed with a frog, a lovely hip opener. And what's kind of miraculous and amazing is that our hips in the sacral chakra, the Squat-Malasana chakra, is the second chakra, which is a space of our creativity, our sensuality, our sexuality, and also a space where we hold emotions. So maybe just tap in for a moment. Maybe you don't know what you're storing in this right hip. And maybe you don't need to know. But perhaps in this practice, could you notice? I was noticing my shoulders were drawn up to my ears. Can you draw the shoulders away from the ears? And can you deepen this by stretching the elbows out and placing one hand down and another hand down and resting the forehead? And going for more of a restorative frog as you welcome that breath in. Send it away. How can you soften even when it hurts, even when it's tense and it's tight? Doing your best to just notice, and if it's just tight and you're feeling like, oh, it's so tight, be with that. Instead of negating it or trying to shove it away, just be right there. Welcome it in. Send it away. Lovely. Okay, bringing the opposite arm, the left arm, into a cactus arm. And then you're going to take the right arm and kind of push yourself up, 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 and roll the body over. So first option is to stay on this foot here. So you're getting a really big stretch to the arm. If the cactus arm is too much, you can lengthen the arm long behind you. You can push up here. Another option is you can touch at the calf, or you can kind of push back behind you. Big breath that comes in. Good, exhales it out. This is kind of getting that lovely stretch in the glute. Ooh, big arm stretch. Welcome it in. Notice any resistance that you are experiencing as you welcome that breath in. Good, send it away. And then slowly and mindfully, bring yourself back to your belly. Okay, and just take a moment and wiggle, waggle your hips. Side to side, adjust. Okay, now this time left knee opens up, right? That inside of the foot is down on the earth. So first variation is hands can be underneath of the shoulders with the elbows hugging in towards the ribs, if this is where you are, or you can lengthen the arms long in front of you. And this is more of a Sphinx variation, which it's lovely because you're getting this heart opener and this hip opener. Tap into seeing if it feels better for your body to lengthen that top of the foot down or to post it up. Where are you at? I feel like when I'm feeling more tense and tight, if I post it up, it's like, oh, I could hold on. But how can you encourage yourself to release here with a big welcoming breath in? Send it away. Good. Welcome that breath in, my lovely. Send it away. Big breath comes in. Good. Now to deepen, just extend the elbows onto the long edge of the mat, stacking one palm on the bottom, second palm on top. Exhale, melt the third eye towards the hands. How can you use the inhale through the nose and then soften through a melted jaw? Even if it hurts, even if it's tense and tight, what in this moment can you be open to releasing? And sometimes we don't know what it is that we need to release. And even if it's just setting that intention, like, I am open to releasing. I am willing to let go of some of these old emotions I've been storing in my hips. And in yoga, these restorative postures, my lovely, when you hold a pose for 60 to 90 seconds, it deepens the connective tissue, which helps increase mobility and flexibility, which is an all-around win for the mind, the body, and the spirit. Okay, now, first variation, for a little bit deeper, you can keep a cactus arm, or you can extend the arm long, and then roll the head so the temple is on the earth. Opposite hand posts up here. You can post up on that foot that's lengthened long, and then inhale, push your body up. First variation is foot can go flat on the earth, the left one, or you can touch the calf a little bit deeper. Toe touches back. Big stretch in the shoulder. Big outer thigh, outer hip stretch. Big breath welcomes in. Sends it away. Welcome that breath in. Send it away. I know you might be resisting. It can be hard. Do hard things by actually doing them. Welcome it in. Send it away. Okay, mindfully bring yourself back to your belly. Pushing your body up, up, up on the hands. So first option is to be on the knees for a modified plank variation on the knees. Second option here is big breath comes in as that plank goes forward. Okay, rooting the left foot into the earth and inhale, hugging the right knee towards the right elbow. Exhale, touching it back. Inhale, hovering and touching it up forward and back. Find strength by affirming to yourself, I am strong. Inhale, bring it forward. Exhale, step it back. Inhale, last one, hover and hold for 10, 9, you've got this, 8, 7, 6, 5, hover that heel in 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh, sink down to the sit bones for a moment. And maybe just here, take a few intuitive figure eights. I just got a crampy cramp in my foot. So if you're getting one of those, that's okay. Take a moment. You can carve back in the hips and come forward. Really here, make sure that the knees are wide open so hips are able to freely explore. Okay, now to that other side. So first variation down here on the knees, and you can inhale. So when you're coming forward, you're gonna bring it back. So inhale, hovering the heel towards the bottom, pushing the earth away. Inhale, find strength by affirming I am strong. Inhale. Exhale, send it back. Inhale, hover. You got this. Exhale, send it back. Last one hovers and holds for 10, 9, smile, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Send it on back. Press it all the way up and back, downward facing dog, my lovely light. And just take a moment here. Good. Now open up the legs. Walk the hands in, scotch, maybe like a handprint distance. And then exhale. Can you press back and then expand forward? It might be a little bit awkward here. I'm not as much in a downward dog, but this is kind of where I am, where we're kind of preparing ourselves for a goddess or a yogi squat, a malasana. So toes are off the mat. And if you notice in me, my heels are not all the way on the mat, and that's okay. So be where you are. Bring it forward. Okay, now walking the hands, almost like we're in this wide-legged forward fold with the toes out here, and just letting your head hang heavy. Just taking a moment to be present with the breath, to just be where you are. Wonderful. And mindfully making a transition where you can sink back into the sit bones. So I actually do have some blocks here. So if you have blocks and you've never done a yogi squat, or you have and you're like in it and it's hard, use the blocks. So sometimes when I'm doing this though without the blocks, it can look like this. So sometimes I'll like to kind of adjust myself as you tent the fingers up and kind of bring the weight up into the front toe pad on one side, flatten on the other side. Because I've never been a yogi who always has flat feet on the mat. Flexibility and mobility has always been really hard for me. And I will say that I'm here to break that myth that you have to be this bendy, flexible person to practice yoga, because that's not me at all. If you notice, I don't teach as traditional as yoga. I teach more of this inspired movement and flow, and I like to bring a little bit of strength and empowerment into the practice. So if you're ready and you want to land, sometimes I'll even like to bring my toes in on the front toe pads and then sitting back on the heels. So if a flat-footed squat is in your practice, rock it out. You've done this, you've been here before. If you're not there today, it's okay. I promise you, like, you are not alone, and it's good to be here. But also push yourself. So we're coming in, front toe pads, heels are up towards the body. Inhale, roll the shoulders up towards the ears and then back and away. So you can catch a mudra, which is just a hand seal. So just seal together the pointer and the thumb, pointer and thumb. This is called a Guyana mudra. It's a great mudra for the heart, which it's like we want to open our heart. Even in this hip opening emotional flow, our heart, we store a lot of stuff. So here, and what you could do is catch a focal point with a big breath that comes in. You can also come forward if it's feeling like, oh my goodness, Shelly, this is hard. It's okay to do hard things. Or if you're feeling like, okay, I can go for this yogi squat. Sometimes the yogi squat is hard for my body, woo, and wherever you are. So you can also catch the prayer or the namaste mudra here. Take a moment, focus. Big wide open hip opener. Welcomes that breath. Ooh, pushes it away. Exhale, push the hands up, up, up and away. I love blocks. I am a huge fan of blocks. Please get yourself a set of blocks if you don't have them. And really just, can you allow yourself to hang heavy? Hang the heart heavy. So the blocks just bring the floor a little bit closer to you. So point the toes out towards the corners of the mat. And then can we exhale? Drive the sit bone towards one heel. This can be easier said than done, okay? I know this. So if you're here and you're pushing down here, I teach a gentle yoga class, and I have a lot of students in their 60s and 70s. Whether you're in your 60s or 70s or 30s or 40s or 50s and you're struggling with mobility in your hips, it's okay. You can start up here. But if you can exhale and just dive the sit bone towards the heel. So notice the heel comes off the earth. So check this out. This block, bam, right under that heel to help. You could also use the block up here. So maybe you haven't been convinced that you need a pair of blocks, but I really hope that by the end of this practice that you've gotten on Amazon or your local place where you can buy stuff down in the valley. An hour away from here, I love Sierra. They have great stuff for great prices. I hope you get yourself a pair of blocks because they're really helpful. Big breath comes in. Exhale. Because I do sometimes when I take classes and they're like, use a block, and they don't have it. I'm like, well, why would I use one if you're not? Okay, so inhale it up. Walk yourself up, up, up. Ooh, pick it up. Maybe it burns. Maybe it hurts. Maybe you need a pat it out. Okay. Now, same thing on this side. So you're going to bend into the left knee. And guess what? I always try my best to mirror you and swap my mind. Sometimes I'll watch my videos back and I'm like, oh, Shelly, you were off, and it's okay. So if you need to stay up here, you can press off on the thigh. Just make sure you're holding yourself from your belly. Or if your body's like, okay, I've got this. So lift up, front toe pad, shift that heel up, 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 and over. If you have that block or something that you can stack up on, just to give you support. Holy kabajoli inner thigh. So be with where you are. If you need to hold on to something, tent the hands ahead of you. If you're like bajangas, you can do something. My kids have been obsessed with young Sheldon. I think bajangas is from that, but I don't know. I might have just made that up. I often do that. So maybe you can hold yourself. Maybe you can be a real beautiful, graceful yogi because you are. And listen, whether or not you resonate with the word yogi, I still struggle after 10 years of practicing yoga with calling myself a yogi. I'm like, oh, I feel like an imposter. Okay, not an imposter. It's just a word. Words only hold the weight, the bandwidth that we give them. Good, big breath comes in. Okay, so we're gonna make a transition here. So if you had that block under, however you can get to that butt. And you don't have to be this perfect certain way. Lovely. We're coming in for our last final poses here. So meeting knee with the soles of the feet, kissing the soles of the feet. Again, blocks can be a friend here if hips are feeling tight. I am imagining that all of us get tight hips. So check it out. Does it feel better for you to drive the hips, the heels towards the pelvic wall? Look at all this space I have here. So for me, when I am feeling not as mobile or flexible, which is a lot of the times, pushing them away can be really helpful. And sometimes I like to have a free butterfly here. So you can grab the fronts of the shins and inhale the front of the heart, and then you can exhale, fold it forward. But if you're wanting something a little more restorative and like, ooh, hold there, please, You can play with the blocks and wherever your knees are and get them there, because again, these blocks are your friends. And just take a moment to pause. And in this moment, perhaps you can honor and acknowledge whatever has been happening in your hips, in your lower extremities, these lower two chakras, and perhaps with love and compassion, you can soften a little bit here. I know sometimes the thoughts or the idea of letting something go is like, oh my gosh, I don't want to let these parts of me go because they're who I am. Well, who you are is ever changing, and as the seasons are, you're ever growing. And just as the trees are changing, I'm in spring here in Colorado, and that trees don't control their growth, they just do. And so let yourself just be and let yourself shed and bloom and regrow. Wonderful work. Inhale the back of the heart up. Lovely light. Setting ourselves up for our final pose, our Shavasana, our pose of surrender. So however you need to, if it's a grand old timber, coming on back here. And I recommend here, you can bring the soles of the feet, kissing the soles of the feet for another expansive butterfly, just to really encourage this hip opener. This, again, my lovely, is a great space to bring those blocks. And just settle, perhaps with me, lift up the shoulders. Exhale them down, lift up the hips. Rest them down. And allow a gentle wave of relaxation to wash from the top of the head, down the forehead, gently relaxing through the throat, bringing the hands to the belly, relaxing through the heart, softening the sternum and the ribs. A gentle wave of relaxation washes down the belly to the hips, softening through the toes. Welcome a breath that comes in. Send it away. And we'll just take a few moments to just surrender and be with what is, and I will call you out when it is time. And just gently coming back, welcoming a deepened breath. Wonderful work. Elongating the feet long, stretching the arms long, creating a long line of energy from the tips of the fingers to the toes. And then hug, hug, hug your body in and meet me roll onto a side. Use that underarm as a pillow. And just use that top arm to hug yourself in and repeat after me. I love you. I love you. I'm grateful for you. I am grateful for you. Using that top arm as a kickstand, meeting me in a seated position, and bringing the palms, kissing palms to your heart center. The love and the light within me honors and acknowledges the love and the light within you. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope that you are just open in your hips and just feeling looser and softened. Please share this out and subscribe, because I want to be here for you, showing up for you. I really believe that a home practice will forever change your life, and I'm here for you. I'm your soul sister. I love you. There's so many amazing practices on this channel, and it's my heart, it's my love, it's my light, and that's why I'm here. I love you.